Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I am going to show you how to properly replace the rear brake pads along with the rear brake disc from any VW SHARAN Generation 2 out there. The car which I'm working on today is made in the year 2011, but this is not important because the method which I'm going to show you right here, it's working for almost any car out there. Doesn't matter which manufacturer it is, it can be a Skoda, PASSAT, AUDI or other manufacturers because the steps will be almost similar like this one. Right here, as you can see, I have the brand new brake pads and brake disc made by AUDI, and I recommend all to try this manufacturer because this is the best manufacturer which you can buy for your normal car. If you have a supercar or something like that, probably there will be other manufacturers more better than this one, but the AUDI made for normal cars, it's the best out there. So the first thing which you have to do is to lift the car up, and in my case, as you can see, everything is lifted up. And to remove and replace the brake disc along with the brake pads on these kind of vehicles, you'll have first to put the rear calipers into the service mode using a special diagnostic tool which is capable of doing these things. And after you put the caliper into the service mode, you can just remove the rear two bolts which are securing the caliper mounted to the caliper mounting bracket. This is the first one right here, and the second one, it will be right underneath, this one from right here. After that, you have to remove the caliper mounting bracket. This huge metal part from right here, this is securing the caliper mounted to the vehicle, and you have two bolts from underneath the suspension which you have to remove, and which I'm going to show you right here and right now. Those are the two bolts which you have to remove and which are securing the caliper mounting bracket to the suspension frame. And if you don't remove those two bolts, you won't be able to remove the brake disc from the car because the brake disc is fitted perfectly between the caliper mounting bracket, and there is no space to pull it out if you don't remove this bracket first. So I recommend all to remove this bracket if you want to replace the brake discs, and if you don't want to replace them, you don't have to remove it. You will only have to remove the caliper from the mounting bracket, and the brake pads will come out very fine and very easy. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the ignition, I'm going to enter into my diagnostic tool, and I'm going to put the rear calipers into the service mode. Before trying to do the service mode, you'll have to put the car on a flat surface or on an elevator or something like that, and you'll have to put the parking brake off. Don't turn it on, the parking brake must be off. You'll have to choose electronic parking brake module, then you'll have to go into the basic settings, and after that you have to choose open rear parking brake prior to brake pad change or brake disc change or something like that. And you have to click confirm, and it will open the rear parking brake like you're doing right here in my case. After the rear caliper sound is stopping, you have to go into the vehicle. You can just take the ignition and you can go ahead and work on the rear calipers and replace the parts which you have to replace on the vehicle. Right now, as you can hear, there is no more sound on the rear calipers, so this is meaning that I can go out, I can close my diagnostic tool, I can take the ignition out, and from here I will go ahead and I will replace the parts which I have to replace on this vehicle. Alright everybody, so the first thing which you have to do to remove the brake pads and the brake disc from this kind of vehicle on the rear side is to remove the caliper first from the caliper mounting bracket. You'll have to remove the two bolts from behind which are securing it mounted to the caliper mounting bracket, and if the bolt is spinning with the nut, you'll have to contra hold it with a 50mm key from not moving around when you want to remove the little bolt which is mounted inside it. So as you can see, in my case everything is working good so far, the bolts came out very easy. And right now the caliper is out from the rear caliper mounting bracket, and you can just pull out the brake pads, and as you can see in my case they were very worn out. This is metal to metal, and from here you have to pull out those anti-rotor springs, you have to pull out the slide pin from the caliper mounting bracket, and you have to lubricate them very good before installing them back on the vehicle. After that, you have to remove the little screw which is securing the brake disc mounted to the hub, but in my case I don't have it at all, so I don't have to worry about it. But if you have it, you'll have to remove it, and after that you have to hammer the brake disc with a normal hammer. Just hammer it a little bit until it will be released from the hub. And after that, as you can see, the rear brake disc is not coming out because it's hitting into the rear caliper mounting bracket. So you'll have to remove the two bolts which are securing the caliper mounting bracket mounted to the hub. And after you remove the two bolts, the caliper mounting bracket will come out, and the brake disc also will come out from the rear hub. Okay everybody, so as you can see, both of the rear bolts which are securing the caliper mounting bracket are out, and from here I just removed the brake disc and also the rear caliper mounting bracket. And after you remove the parts, you have to take a wire brush, you have to clean the area very good on which the new brake pad will sit, and also the hub must be cleaned very well. And after that, you have to move ahead and push the piston back into the caliper. There is a special press which will help you to do this kind of job, and in my case this is the press. And before pushing the piston back into the caliper, I recommend all to lift just a little bit the boot which is mounted around the piston from the caliper, and just put some WD-40 inside to make the caliper slide a little bit easier and to make the piston work a little bit easier back and forth into the caliper. After you finish pushing the piston back into the caliper, you'll have to check the boot from around the piston to not be in a wrong position, or if it has a lot of air inside it and you see some bubbles, you'll have to lift it up a little bit until all the air from inside it will come out. And as you can see in my case, all the air is out, so the boot is nice and flush with the piston, so this means that the job is done properly. From here I will assemble all the parts back on the vehicle. I'm going to use some copper paste over the parts and also over the hub and over the new brake disc which I'm going to put on the vehicle. After that, the next step which you'll have to do is to put the brake disc back over the hub. You'll have to secure it with the little screw which also came into the kit with the new brake disc, and you'll have to tighten it to 4 Newton meters. After that, the next step which you'll have to do is to put back the caliper mounting bracket and tighten it to spec, and I recommend all to use new bolts if you are able to, but even if you don't buy new bolts, you can also reuse the old ones because they will be just fine. Just clean them very good and also make sure to spray some lubricant over them to prevent them from getting rusted in the future. Moving on with the job, the next step which you have to do is to install back the slice pin, and I recommend all to lubricate them very good, and you have to put them back into the caliper mounting bracket, and you have to make sure that they are going very easy back and forth into the caliper mounting bracket to prevent them getting blocked in the future and making the brakes not work how they are supposed to be working. After that, you have to install back the anti-rattle springs over the caliper mounting bracket, and in my case those are some specially made anti-rattle springs because they will hold the brake pad from not touching the brake disc. When you hit the brake pedal will touch the brake disc, but if you let it, because the rattle springs have some springs mounted on it, they will push the brake pad out from the brake disc to prevent them from rubbing over the brake disc when it's not necessarily, and also it will prevent them from wearing out prematurely. Right here, as you can see, if I push them together, they will come out by itself, and because of that, they will not wear out prematurely and they will last a little bit longer than usual. After that, the next step which you have to do is to put back the caliper over the caliper mounting bracket. You'll have to secure the new screws over it and you'll have to tighten them to spec. Very good everybody, the job is almost done. The only thing which I have left to do is to go back on my diagnostic tool. You'll have to put the ignition and you'll have to click close on the rear caliper or on the rear parking brake with the diagnostic tool, and you'll have to click confirm. And as you can hear, they will also make a sound like before, and after this sound will stop, the calipers will be working again like they are normally working. Alright everybody, so as you can hear, the sound is stopped. The next step which you have to do is to push the brake pedal a few times just to create some pressure into the system, and the job is done. This is all you have to do to replace the rear brake disc and also the rear brake pads from any Volkswagen Charan Generation 2 after the year 2010. Thank you for watching. If you liked it and found it informative, please leave a like and a comment down below. See you next time.